Hello everybody and welcome back to the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. On the last episode, we finished going through that castle. I don't know if we can see it from here in any way. No, I don't think so. But we finished going to the castle and now we're supposed to be heading out to the train station so that we can move on to the next part of our field study. We're supposed to all be meeting up somewhere, I believe. Everybody just hanging around because everybody wanted to see him off. We still have a little time before the next train leaves. What should we do? It might be best to just wait in the station until the train arrives. Yeah, let's go wait inside. We need to buy our tickets for the trip to Garrelia Fortress too. Hey Juices, wanna buy me some snacks? Buy your own food. Lively as ever, I see. Let's head in then. Juices, you don't have to be so cold. Ugh. All that cat reminds me of is how much he is hiding. Oh, I can see the castle for a second there. Wait, it's gone again. Well, the forest is quite dense around here. Still, we saw a lot of weird things in that castle. It was one thing after another from the moment we walked through the door. What are you looking at me for? Because we all know you're hiding something and you just don't want to tell us. Never mind. It was pretty great. Do you have this much fun on all of your field studies? I just wish it was a little longer. Those 2 days went by so quickly. Well, the field study isn't over. We're on our way to our next location, so don't relax just yet. It looks like I must say farewell to Legram once again, for the time being. I wasn't expecting to, but I can't help but feel a little homesick already. I can understand why. It was a really welcoming place. I didn't ever get the sense that social class were keeping people apart. True. It seems like a place that we nobles could learn much from. I'd definitely like to visit again in the future. It would be great to bring Fee and the others next time too. You're all more than welcome in Legram anytime. I only hope we'll continue to grow and learn between now and when I next return. After leaving Legram, we changed trains at Garrelia Station and rode the cruising main line north, heading towards Seldick. That is a long railway. I wonder how long that took. Alright, let's go over our schedule again. We're currently en route to Seldick, where we'll rendezvous with Group E. From there, we'll take the Transcontinental Railroad to Garrelia Fortress on the Empire's eastern border. Yeah, that looks bad. Garrelia Fortress is one of the Imperial Army's largest strongholds, sometimes referred to as the wall that protects the nation from the threat of Calvary Republic. I've heard it's ludicrously gigantic, almost an icon of military excess. I don't know. And also houses the 2 railway guns that has the military exercise ground on its premises. Weren't those the weapons that Gwyn said he regretted constructing? Yeah, there are these two massive orbital cannons pointed towards the east at Calvert. Or more specifically, they have been aimed at the buffer zone between us and them, Crossbell State. They are pretty crazy, yeah. It's like you're looking at a mountain of iron. I was pretty overwhelmed when I first saw them. Wait, you've actually seen the railway guns in person? Yeah, Gramps took Claire, Lecter, and me to see them this one time. These are the mightiest weapons wrought by the hands of men since the Great Collapse. I want you to consider what it means to have such weapons means that such weapons have been placed here. Well, something like that anyway. To consider what it means. He has a flair for the dramatic, I'll give him that. Come to think of it, today's the day, isn't it? The day that the Chancellor is scheduled to depart for Crossbell with Prince Oliver. I guess the trade conference kind of snuck up on us, huh? I think that's where Lecter's going too. I want to go to Crossbell too. There's supposed to be this really famous theater group there, and they have a huge theme park, right? That's what I've heard, though you probably know more about it than I do. Apparently, Student Council President Toa is going as part of the entourage to further her studies. Really? She never fails to impress. I hear she's been getting job offers from a bunch of different companies ready to hire her right after graduation. Well, she does merit a high esteem people lavish on her. She's the pride of the academy. All passengers disembarking here in Saturday, please exit the platform via the bridge. I repeat, do not approach the rope barrier on platform 1. Passengers wishing to travel on the Continental Railroad, please wait on platform 2. Just what's going on here? All this security feels kind of ominous. It seems the railway military police are guarding the opposite platform. Yeah, I wonder if...
Well, isn't this quite the coincidence?
Is it though?
Captain Claire!
It's Claire! Did you come to see me?
Just a coincidence, I'm afraid. Eisengraf will be passing through here soon, so this station's operating under heightened security.
Oh, right!
Still, I'm happy to see you again. It's been, what, 2 months since I last saw you?
She really is attached to Captain Claire. Yeah, almost like sisters. Hard to believe both of them are Iron Bloods. At any rate, good day everyone. Let me thank you again for all your help during the recent crisis in Himdala. Don't worry about it. We simply did our duty as citizens of the Empire. More importantly, what's the meaning of all this extra security? And what's this Eisengraf you mentioned? As in Iron Count, right? You'll see what I mean soon enough. Special express train will momentarily be passing by platform 1. This train will be passing through at high speed, so travelers on the platform are advised to exercise caution. A special express train? It couldn't be. Right on time. The building is shaking. Toa. There's Toa and Prince Oliver. What if he was actually really seeing it this slowly? But he got a glimpse of everybody. He has sharp eyes. So, that was Eisengraf. Come to think of it, I've heard rumors of a special Crimson train. It's supposedly reserved for use by the members of the Imperial government. I've been on it before. It's really fast. It's pretty fancy inside, too. Eisengraf, or the Iron Count, in the common parlance. It was so titled in honor of Chancellor Osborne himself. Well, I do hear him called the Iron and the Blood and Iron Chancellor all the time, so I can understand the Iron part. But isn't the Chancellor a commoner by birth? He is indeed. However, he was granted the title of Count by His Majesty when he was made Chancellor 11 years ago. Supposedly, that's what led to the train being given its name shortly thereafter. I see. I doubt he, of all people, sees any worth in titles or peerage. Reen? Yeah? Is something bothering you? Your attention seems elsewhere. Still feeling tired after yesterday? No, not really. I just happened to catch a glance of Toa and Prince Oliver on the train as they passed by. Wow, I'm surprised you could even make them out. You must have a hawk's eye to be able to see them when Eisengraf whooshed by so quickly. Nah, it was probably just coincidence. Nah, you saw everybody. It was more than just a glance though. I could see them clearly in detail. What was that just now? Well, as long as you're not feeling unwell. I think that's something else about that power in Reen. We would like to thank all passengers for their cooperation with today's security measures. Transcontinental Railway Service bound for Crossbell State, now arriving on platform 2. Here it comes. Yeah, looks like we didn't have to wait long after all. Y'all had to wait longer than I would have liked if I was waiting on the train. But, you know, trains come on their own schedules. Hey, it's Group B. Hey, there they are. Reen, over here. Come on, we haven't got all day. We saved you some seats. Well, if you'll excuse us, Captain. See you later, Claire. Of course, have a safe trip, everyone. Woohoo! Who's that classy-looking babe? God, I should have just stayed on the train. Oh, Sarah, get along. We received word from Squad 8. No unusual movements have been detected near the Twin Dragons Bridge. We also received word from Squad 21. They reported all high-speed armored cars are in position. Understood. Remain vigilant until Eisengraf has finished passing through. Once it reaches Crossbell City, have all squads switch to Phase D. Yes, ma'am. Are you sure the Imperial Liberation Front will show themselves? They will, I'm certain of it. If I'm correct, then we've got problems. I think it's time those railway guns are coming into play now. I see. It sounds like Group A had quite an eventful couple of days, too. Yeah, though, I find it kind of hard to believe that you could have seen Ghost of Leanna Sandlot. That's ridiculous. Are you sure you weren't just hallucinating or something? You can think whatever you like. We totally saw her, I swear. Well, ghost or not, there was definitely someone there besides us. Anyway, that's enough about ghosts and spirits for the time being. I'm more concerned about the affairs of the living, like where Toval and the Radiant Blade Master went. It sounds like Duke Cayenne is up to something too, and he's not someone we can afford to take lightly. We didn't run into anything like that in our Jurii Special Economic Zone, though I guess that makes sense, seeing it's under the direct control of the Imperial government and not the noble. I seem to recall that it was annexed 8 years ago, is that right? Yeah, the Empire stitched it on nice and neat without any opposition. Now it's prospering as a special economic zone on the coast. Seemed like a pretty lively place. And the revenue generated from taxes there goes directly to the Imperial government coffers, instead of the pockets of nobility. It's hardly a mystery why the reformists think so highly of it. Well, that aside, I'm a little concerned about the upcoming trade conference in Crossbell. Same goes for the Imperial Liberation Front. They've been awfully quiet since that show they put on last month. Now that you mention it, it does seem rather suspicious. Is that related somehow to why we're going to Garrelia Fortress? Well, it's not the main reason, but it's not entirely unrelated. Well, I'll let you look forward to finding out all about it when we get to the fortress itself. Anyway, how many of you have passed through Garrelia Fortress by train before? Have passed. Oh. I see. Just us, huh? I can't wait to see everyone's first reactions. True. I don't know, Fee as well. Oh, so just us four. Why's that? Well, I've seen it in photographs at least. The camera isn't really capturing how ridiculous it is. Yep, it's supposed to be this macho gateway to the Empire, but it just seems like it's trying way too hard. What's that supposed to mean? The gateway to the Empire and one of the largest military bases in the country. I look forward to the chance to see it in person, though. All kinds of smuts on my glasses. Certainly impairing my vision slightly. Transcontinental Railroad, Proving Ground, and Garrelia Fortress. The train carrying Class 7 continued their rise at the Transcontinental Line on the heading towards the east. They passed through the Twin Dragons Bridge and Cruising Provincial Army Base, and several stations later, it was finally time to pass through Garrelia Fortress, which loomed large on the border with Crossbell State. 11:20. Ministry of Railways wishes to thank all passengers for their patronage. The next stop is Garrelia Fortress. Garrelia Fortress. This train will stop for 5 minutes. Please be aware that only authorized personnel may disembark at this station. Be advised that all orbital photography is strictly prohibited within the fortress and is punishable by Imperial law. Any attempt at unauthorized recording may result in the confiscation of your equipment or detention by the authorities. Wow, that was it sounded pretty severe for a train announcement. While we are passing through a military facility, I don't think they're being unreasonable. Do you really think that's the issue here? I'm not sure having that be one of the first things foreign visitors here gives a very good impression of the country. Oh, we're finally here. What in Idios' name is that? It's so green. Eastern border, Garrelia Fortress. The scale is just... This is Garrelia Fortress? This entire place is built from iron and concrete. How much money has the Iron dumped into building all of this? Yep, that was about as entertaining as I hoped. Not that I'm surprised. I thought the same thing when I first saw it. So Elliot saw it too? From the crossbow side, all you can see is a cliff though. Yeah, but those two railway guns still poking out of it though. Hey instructor, what did you bring us out here to show us? What else? We're here so you can see the true essence of what makes an army. What comprises the military's strength and forms its foundation. What other place in the Empire has that on display as clearly as here? Who are they? Engineers and tradesmen mostly. You'll see a lot of them around here. Keeping a fortress this size up and running is a full-time job for more than just the military's people. So it seems. It's almost like its own town here. On the other side of this fortress, it's more or less a straight shot to Crossbell City, right? To think that such a bustling center of trade is so close to a massive military facility like this. Yeah, Crossbell City is only about 30 minutes away by train. From the top of the fortress, you can see the skyscraper where the trade conference is going to take place.
I see you've arrived.
Oh, Instructor Neidhart!
Good morning, Major Neidhart. Instructor Valestein of Thor's Military Academy, homeroom teacher for Class 7. Reporting the arrival of myself and all students in my care.
Acknowledging your arrival at 11:30 hours. Welcome to Garrelia Fortress. In addition to my teaching duties at the Academy, I hold the rank of Major in the Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I'll be acting as your guide, as well as your instructor for special lectures during your time here at the Fortress. Now, if you'll follow me...
Crow better stay awake for these. Including today, you have 2 days remaining of this month's field study. This is the longest field study ever. However, we will not be assigning you any tasks during your time. Instead, you'll be participating in a series of special lectures and a field trip. Field trip? Here? What exactly does that entail, instructor? At 1400 hours today, a joint military exercise will be taking place at Garrelia Training Grounds. The 4th and 5th Armored Divisions will both be participating, and you will be observing it. We're going to watch a military exercise? The 4th Armored Division, huh? The 4th Armored Division is led by none other than Elliot's dad, Lieutenant General Ulf Craig. By all accounts, it's one of the strongest armored divisions in the Imperial Army. Did you know our friend, the Major here, is their most promising young member? It's true. Moving on. As I said, you'll only be observing this exercise, not actively participating. I imagine that has some of you feeling rather relieved, doesn't it? It does sound like a pretty easy assignment after all. But we'll see how many of you feel the same after experiencing it for yourself. That's all for me. It's currently 11:50 hours. Lunch has been prepared for you in the mess hall. I don't know how to say military time as well. I advise you all to eat. Oops. Crap. That looks like a brick. So, this is food? Hey, the fruit looks good at least. That looks like burnt bread. That looks like some actually pretty good, decent looking chili or something. And the other thing just looks like bread. That looks like bread. That looks like a brick. That looks like some pretty tasty fruit. That looks like burnt bread, and that looks like chili. We have salty corned beef, and I think I'm getting a hint of peas from this soup. You could use this bread as a lethal projectile. I do think it wouldn't hurt to use a few more herbs or flavors in general. Calling this edible would be generous. I've heard plenty of rumors about the food they serve in the Imperial Army, but I wouldn't have guessed they'd all be true. I didn't think the food they served in the mess hall at Zinder's Gate was all that bad though. I don't think it would kill them to serve something a little more appetizing. This is the exact same thing they served when I came here with my class last year. Probably from the same batch too, by the look of it. Really brings back memories. I was pretty surprised the first time my dad brought me here to eat, too. You guys really think it's that bad? Really brings back memories for me too. At least there's some cheese and an apple. That's an apple? That looks like a mango. Dang. The food served in the army makes use of common ingredients that are easy to preserve and store. The ingredients used to make all the food on your trays can easily be stockpiled in large quantities. So even if a war were to break out, a meal like this could still be served without any trouble. So that explains it. I see. So the army serves simple foods all the time to avoid the decrease in morale from wartime rationings. Well, not all the time. However, one can think of this food as a physiological statement from the continent's strongest army, in the sense that it suggests that soldiers should live and work each day as though a war effort depends on them. Every day. So they should be just as tense during times of peace as during times of war. Well, it's a bit much mind over matter idealism for my taste, but it's worth being aware of. And to throw a different perspective in the mix here, the food the provincial army serves is actually pretty good. Good enough that you can't help but wonder how they'd cope if an actual war were ever to break out. Well, it's not like serving good food means you have a crappy army. I hear that neighbor Liberal serves up some pretty tasty food in their army. Liberal's army is fairly elite, probably because the threat of being neighbors to the Empire keeps them tense. I feel a little conflicted hearing you say that. Well, these things are all about finding a good balance. Variety is the spice of life, you know. If you eat nothing but dull, bland food all the time, well, you know what they say, you are what you eat. I could do with a few of your pitiful remarks in my diet, Instructor Valestine. Okay. Anyway, as you heard, there's going to be a military exercise at the training ground at 2 in the afternoon today. It's 12:30 right now. You have an hour to do whatever you like. They'll make an announcement half an hour before, so be sure to listen for it and do whatever it tells you. Understood? So when you say whatever we like, oops. So she was saying something. Y'all know how to pause the video when you want line. Of course, you're welcome to roam around, as long as you don't poke your nose into any restricted areas. So go ahead and explore. There's plenty worth seeing here, like the command center. Though, if you're feeling a little tired from your field study so far, you're welcome to rest in your room. It would be a shame to waste such a valuable opportunity. I suppose I should at least get a general overview of the fortress. Yeah, I'm all by myself. Let's go look around a little bit. I guess this place is treated like a dungeon. Oh, it's Emma. Oh, are you taking a rest, Emma? I did take a short walk around, but everything about this fortress is so imposing. It made me feel a little faint. I feel you there. Looking at Emma now, it's hard to believe she's the same person who almost single-handedly guided us through that castle. Green? Nah, never mind. But there is one thing that's been bugging me lately. Ever since we arrived in Legram, I feel like just out of the corner of my eye, I catch glimpses of this small black shadow following us. But ever since we got to the fortress, I haven't seen it. Really? Maybe you were possessed by something. Possessed? Yikes, that's kind of an unsettling thought. It is, isn't it? Shoot, I'm glad I told her to go back when we reached Selbit. Emma. You know what? I'm not even gonna. Not even. Oh yeah, Tovo gave me a call about what happened in Legram. So you had a mechanical monster show up outside the city limits? Yeah, Tovo looked pretty concerned when we first mentioned it to him too. Do you know anything about them? Well, I'm no stranger to the group that makes them. They go by the name Ouroboros. They're a secret society of sorts that act in the shadows all across the continent. A secret society? Green, why your face so serious? We don't know how many members there are or what they're capable of. Honestly, we don't know much about them at all. What we do know is that they have access to technology more advanced than the most cutting-edge research institutes, and that they've been behind several crises that have threatened to shake the foundations of entire nation-states. And these are the people who made those monsters? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I'd find it hard to swallow. But there's no denying what we saw out there. Well, you don't need to come to grips with it just yet. We call those mechanical monsters like the ones you found archaisms. And lately, it seems like an awful lot of them have made their way onto the black market. There's been one sighting after another these days, all over the Empire and beyond. Wow, that's heavy. Does that mean there's a chance they might be plotting something here in Erebonia? Just in your opinion, I mean. Well, that's a tricky thing about them. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all. There have been cases where we know they put archaisms out into the wild purely to test their abilities, for example. Still, it's something to keep in the back of your mind at least. Right. I'll be sure to let the others know too. Interesting. Well, that is all the time we have for this episode of The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. If you liked this episode, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all on the next episode.